Today, I want to prove to you that you are awesome. You are amazing and you are amazingly powerful, if you choose to be. In South Africa and a lot of the rest of the world, we have seen a systematic and gradual neutering of the white European population in every respect. Let me explain. We have slowly let ourselves be convinced that we are responsible for other ethnic groups' misery, for their failures, and for their poverty, even though there is ample evidence to the contrary. It's just a fact and something we have willfully let happen to us. This process has produced some of the most miserable individuals that I have ever seen. But this video is not going to be about that. I've already covered this at length. What I want to talk to you about is the blood running through your veins, the warrior within you that is begging to come out, and the graves of your ancestors. We, as the white minority in South Africa, come from a stock of people that were the most industrious, the most innovative, the most adventurous, the bravest, and the most powerful, and the most feared people this earth has ever seen. Your ancestors started with little to nothing and built empires, which they defended with armies more powerful than any other. They effectively conquered the world. I don't think you realize what this means. You and I are a part of that nation. We are direct descendants to them. We have the graves of those heroes before us to prove it. The only reason we are being beaten into submission by others is because we are allowing it to happen. We have forgotten what we are capable of, quite literally, and we have been given so many distractions to keep us from realizing this fact and actually allowing ourselves to be the warriors we actually are. This applies to the white population worldwide, but I'm only concerned about us here in South Africa right now. A while ago, I read an article written by someone who had studied European history, and it literally blew me away. This article spoke about what the European people used to be like, and I'm talking really long time ago. It described the Europeans as a very tolerant nation, a nation that would put up with a lot of crap before reacting too harshly. A nation that turned the other cheek a lot of the time and gave their adversaries the opportunity to realize their mistakes and give them an opportunity to change their ways. It took a lot to get them to react in defense or retaliation, but the day that they did react, they literally obliterated their enemies. Once the Europeans decided that they had had enough, all hell broke loose. I remember reading in this article that once Europeans went to war, they literally wiped out everything and everyone in their path. They not only killed their enemies, they killed their families, they killed everyone within a mile radius and spared no one and nothing. It was this characteristic that allowed the Europeans to conquer the entire world except for the East. They were that powerful. We are that powerful, if we choose to be. So what happened? If you look back at the Roman Empire, they were the most powerful nation on earth. What brought them down? There is a quote by G. Michael Hopf that says, "Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times." This is so profound once you actually understand exactly what it is saying. The Romans did not start out as the most powerful nation on earth. They pulled themselves up from tough times. They had a will to not only survive, but to be the best, to be on top. In other words, they first had hard times, and that created strong men. Those strong men took on any enemy that came at them and defeated them. They went out and conquered other armies and fought their way to the top of the food chain. They were the toughest, most badass soldiers on the planet. Once they had reached the top and literally had it all, they rested on their laurels because they were now the best of the best and could afford to relax. They created what can only be called the land of milk and honey and spent a good period living in the lap of luxury. This lavish lifestyle and total opulence created men that were weak. Men that did not know what war was and did not know how to fight. Their lifestyle became their downfall in the end because they were eventually taken down from the top of the food chain. If this sounds familiar, it is. When the settlers arrived here, they literally landed here with nothing and had to fend for themselves. They had no choice but to become tough men and women who had no choice but to fight for everything. There is no shortage of history to prove just how strong the Boer nation became. One only has to consult the history books and read how they overcame the savages that attacked them regularly in large numbers, battles such as Blood River, etc. They were a force to be reckoned with. The Boers then faced the British in 2 Boer Wars and put up such a display of bravery and skill in the battlefield, even when outnumbered, outgunned, and underprovisioned, that even the British Empire had to resort to cowardly tactics such as scorched earth and putting the wives and children of the Boers into concentration camps, where many thousands perished. Even through all of this, the South African Boers, or as we know them, the Boere, pushed through to gain independence for what we know today as South Africa. They are responsible for turning this country into a first world country in a short space of time. We were world leaders in many fields of technology and medicine. We produced some of the brightest minds of the time. One thing they also created was good times. This country started to enjoy the fruits of the generations before and became a very wealthy country. We had everything we needed. We had a currency that was at one time stronger than the US dollar. In other words, the strong men had created good times. It did not take much time for those good times to create weak men, and we all know what weak men create, don't we? Today we are reaping the rewards of those good times. We have created weak men who have been distracted by other things. The Romans' opulence has become our fancy cars, our fancy houses, our obsession with sports, our bad habit of becoming slaves to the rubbish shown to us on TV and the lies that have been fed to us for years. We have created our own problems. If we don't want to end up like the Roman Empire, they just disappeared, by the way, we are going to have to see the situation for what it is and decide to be like our ancestors, the ones who tolerated a lot, but once they stopped tolerating nonsense and decided to act, the enemy was dealt with swiftly and without mercy. We, that's you and I, are direct descendants from those warriors. Their blood runs through our veins. We hero worship them for their bravery, but we don't realize that we are them. There is no difference between those that won the Battle of Blood River and us here today. We are those voortrekkers. We are those warriors. We are those heroes. When we as a nation realize this, our problems will fade away like the mist on a lake when the sun comes up. We had a taste of this during the Angolan Bush War. Our soldiers literally wiped the floor with the enemy when they went into battle. I know, I was there. I was one of them. That was just a short while ago. What happened? In a little more than one generation, the good times created weak men. We have come full circle. Don't you think it is time we acted like the warriors we actually are and honored the blood running through our veins? Please remember to like and share this video on as many social media platforms as possible. It's the only way my message gets out there. If you have not subscribed to my channel, do it now. While you are doing that, click on the bell icon to receive notifications of my future uploads. If you would like to support my channel, in the description field I have provided ways for both local as well as international subscribers to make a contribution. I've also provided a Bitcoin as well as a Litecoin wallet address for those who would like to make a crypto contribution. To those that do support my channel, I am truly grateful. Be safe out there. Until next time.